Hello and welcome to News Today on Joy News on MultiTV. My name is Francisca Kakra-Forsen. Coming up in the headlines, impact of the GMA strike worsens as emergency cases are turned away at various public health facilities. Also coming up, more bodies retrieved from the sites of the June 3rd twin disasters in Accra. Court rules in favor of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation in a suit questioning the resumption of the collection of TV license fees. I'm Francisca Kakra-Forsen and this is News Today. Let's get started. A day after negotiations between government and the Ghana Medical Association broke down, reports are coming in of the worsening impact of the withdrawal of the services from hospital emergency wards. They are largely deserted as patients and their relatives are to seek treatment elsewhere. Francis Aban has been to the accident and emergency ward at the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital and sat down earlier with Atani Delali Emmanuel to talk about what he found.
So I first went to the surgical and medical emergency unit. That's where we know that the second phase of the strike had taken effect, and so we were not expecting doctors to be there. But this morning when I went there, the place was virtually empty. The emergency unit had no patient at all. There was only one nurse sitting at his desk, you know, looking very confused, like nothing is happening. I asked him why the room was empty, and he tells me since Saturday morning, that has been the picture, that the doctors don't turn up for work. Even if they do, they just come to see those are the wards. So they see those in the wards, sort them out, and then they leave. Then the nurses will go, you know, give them the medication as and when. But since Saturday morning, they've had to turn away every patient who comes with a new case, be it dying or whatever it is. But this morning, at about 5:45, I was just standing there trying to get a sense of what was happening. Then a taxi came in, four individuals were in the car, the driver, two men and a lady. The lady is actually the mother of one of the guys in the car. The woman had some form of medical condition, heart condition, the guy tells me, was coming in from as far as Amasaman, had been referred, you know, to go get some medical attention. And then they come and the doctor tells them, the nurse on duty says, I'm sorry, you cannot show up here and us take care of you because as it stands, things are difficult. There's no doctor to take care of your condition. Even though you've been referred, we cannot take care of you. And that's how bad the situation is. But generally, I also went to the accident center as well. The place was also, you know, ordinarily you find the place very busy. Someone comes with a chop limb or something, but the place was very, very quiet. I saw only two patients on the bed and they were brought in on Saturday. And so you didn't have any new case there. They tell me that the doctors come in sparingly just to come check if there's any new case.
So they're taking care of inpatients? Inpatients,
yes. But no new cases have been admitted. And I hear it got worse from Saturday morning.
But for that family that took the woman to the hospital, what did they tell you? They had no idea the doctors were not working?
Well, they said they took the mother to a local clinic at Amasaman. And their clinic told them, look, your mom's condition is very, very critical. We can't take care of her. So go to Korle Bu. Korle Bu is closest to you.
So they came hoping that...
So they came speeding, hoping that, you know, some mercy will be shown them because it's an emergency. Then they will have this woman taken care of. Said there was some kind of swelling on the midsection and it was bulging. I actually saw it. They opened the car so I take a look at it. I was not allowed to take pictures, but that was how bad it was. And the woman could hardly breathe. She looked very frail this morning. And the son says, well, I'm just hoping that when I go to 37, I'll get some help for her. So after they spoke to me, they just jumped in the car and sped off to 37.
Well,
Matilda Wemega is also at Korle Bu Teaching Hospital at the Child Health Department and joins us on the phone lines for the very latest. Matilda, what can you report from where you are?
Well, Francisca, I can tell you that nurses and doctors at post here at the Child Health Department are now seeing to only inpatients. They are not taking any new cases. They are going about doing their regular checkups in the ward.
And so, did you manage to speak to fresh patients who came there and were perhaps turned away?
Well, I wasn't able to speak to fresh patients coming in, but I spoke with some inpatients who tell me that they've heard that because of the ongoing strike, if the issues are not resolved by Friday, those on admission will be discharged, whether they are fit or unfit to go home. So that is their fear now, because some have been on admission for more than 2 weeks and tell me that if they are going to be discharged, if their relatives are not well, then it doesn't send good signals out to them. So they are really scared now and they don't know how the situation will be managed. But the information they are also picking is that if the issues are not addressed by Friday, they will be discharged.
So inpatients at the Child Health Department fear they will be discharged by Friday. Matilda, have you been able to gather any information with regards to emergencies coming to the Child Health Department?
No, for today, no emergency has come in because there is notice all over that they are not taking emergency or OPD cases. If you go to the maternity ward too, it's the same situation there. So nothing really has changed. It's just that the situation is getting worse. Because as you know, Francisca, on Friday, even though emergency services were withdrawn, the child health and maternity were still admitting new cases. But as of today, since 7 a.m., I'm told, they haven't received any new cases and they are not open to taking any fresh cases because the doctors at post are only seeing to those already on admission.
Okay, that's Matilda Wemega. She's reporting from the Child Health Department at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. And what we're learning is that inpatients will be discharged come Friday. Now, the Ghana Medical Association is accusing government of acting in a manner that impedes resolution of the impasse over conditions of service. The president of the GMA, Dr. Kwabena Opoku-Edusei, also says there's too much mistrust between the two parties. He spoke to Joy News moments before negotiations over conditions of service broke down.
What we must understand is that if you make a proposal and somebody makes counter proposal, that I don't mean that you've come into agreement. What I was trying to say is that the ones that probably we had agreed indirectly had been withdrawn. And what we are saying is that if you read the newspaper, if you read the internet on the net, it tells other things that have not even been discussed. That government has paid us 50% professional allowance, for example. But government says 0. Don't go there, no go area. Accommodation, can't you say that all doctors have been paid 20%? It's a misinformation, it's a lie.
So there's nothing from the government side as of now?
The little movement that we can say is on fuel. We sent a proposal, our government sent a proposal, we have not agreed yet. We also sent another counter proposal on that. So we have not agreed yet. What we are trying to say is that we wanted to bring all the various agreements which were in MOUs and administrative instructions together at one place. For example, you talk about postgraduate education. Postgraduate education is being done by government anyway. We wanted government to show more commitment, the ones that they've not been paying. You talk about on-call duty frustration allowance. Government makes it appear that requested for 20, they give us 10. No, we are already being paid 10% anyway. So it's not an agreement. It's something which is there, which government has reaffirmed that you want to maintain the status quo, and that is not negotiation.
Okay, so this week, generally, what are you hoping to achieve, knowing fully well that you and your colleagues are also not in the hospitals and many Ghanaians will be suffering for it?
What we need to achieve is that probably by the end of the day, we must see our way clear. And if at the end of the day, we are able to get something, come to agreement. We are Ghanaians, we are human beings. We look at it. But what I will ask the media to do is that they must always cross-check the information. All these insults and
personal attacks will never move us. It will not solve any problem. We don't like the position of government. There's so much mistrust where documents that are supposed to be in the boardrooms, the meeting rooms, are leaked, and not even just leaked. They are leaked, and the figures in there are just changed to make doctors look too bad. That government had offered you this. Why are you still at home? What you are saying is that most of the things that you hear are just misinformation.
And we know patients who were turned away at public hospitals were directed to the 37 and police hospitals for treatment. Hannah Odame is at the police hospital and joins us on the phone live. Hannah, what can you report?
You know, Francisca, I've been to the police hospital a number of times since the strike began, and I can tell you for a fact that the numbers I saw today were huge. But one interesting thing that I also observed was that much as the numbers were a lot, the queue to the consulting rooms was moving so quickly. And when I inquired, I was told by management that 6 doctors are on duty. On a normal day, only 3 doctors will be in the consulting rooms. But today, all doctors on leave have been called. They are being assisted by house officers. And so the queue was moving so fast, you know. And I also realized that at the maternity ward, for instance, the hospital has extended its beds, because the maternity ward, that was a place that I realized was choked, a bit choked. And so they've extended 10 more beds to the corridors, and that's where the mothers were lying. Then I went to the back of the hospital where I saw 3 tents, huge tents that were put up there. Each of these tents can accommodate up to 8 patients. That's if there's an overflow after the 100-bed capacity of the hospital is filled up with patients. One thing I also saw was that many of the nurses were also on duty assisting the doctors. And so much as the numbers kept coming, because in about 15 minutes I was standing there at the OPD, for instance, I just kept seeing the consulting rooms opening and closing and opening and closing. People were just coming and going. So in 15 minutes, you will see the same group of people again, and the place gets choked again. So the police hospital has put in contingency plans, and much as the place is choked, I can see the hospital is able to contain all of that.
Thank you, Hannah Odame. She's reporting from the police hospital. She's telling us large numbers are being recorded today at the hospital and the tents are already full. Earlier, you heard Matilda Wemega. She was at Kolebu Teaching Hospital, a child's department, and there are fears that inpatients will be discharged this Friday. We'll take a break. We'll return with more stories. Welcome back. The program is News Today on Joy News on MultiTV. The Chief Policy Analyst at the Ghana Institute of Public Options, Dr. Charles Rekubrobe, has ordered all striking public sector doctors to cease their industrial action against government and return to work. According to Dr. Rekubrobe, the strike by the doctors is illegal, and any doctor who is not fulfilling his contracts of employment is not entitled to full pay. He gave the order in a statement, and my colleague Emefa Ewenam Etiamwa Eli shared aspects with us earlier.
By the Labour Commission, the National Labour Commission, they have a 2-week window, to jaw with the employer, which is government now, and then have the issue resolved. But if within that 2-week period they are unable to come to any understanding, then the doctors, even that's on individual basis, should tender in their notice of resignation, not en masse as they are indicating, because it says they went individually to apply for the job, and government, by the terms of the contract,
but they are an association.
Yeah, they are an association. But regarding what's happening now, they are serving on individual basis. They are not serving in terms of the association. So then whatever grievance they have, they should make sure that they have engaged their employer. You know, he's actually encouraging them to get their leaders, which is in this case the GMA, to engage the employer, which is the government, to sit with them by the way it is stipulated under the National Labour Commission, so that they will discuss the issues at hand and then quickly get back to work.
What else is the statement saying?
He's also advising the social commentators. You know, a lot of us have been talking about the strike now in the media all over the place. Even government communicators, people close to government, have made several comments which he thinks is whipping up some public sentiment against the doctors. He's saying that these comments are unhealthy, so he's encouraging these media personnel and social commentators to essentially shut up, so that the right thing will be done. The parties involved in the dispute should sit in a civil way and discuss the issue for an amicable solution.
Did he have any advice for government as well?
Yes, like government, you know, he's actually talked about this thing some time ago, like a decade ago, and he made reference to that instance where you had Dr. Omani Buama some time ago encouraging junior doctors to strike because of, as we are experiencing now, like the doctors doctors are saying, poor working coordination. He says he still stands by that position that whatever the issue is, that the government also has no right to take a stance and as if it will not listen to them. But then they should find reason and sit together and then discuss the matter instead of going out and making comments that will go on escalating the already precarious situation we are experiencing. Well,
more stories on the doctor strike coming in a bit, but right now there are indications that more dead bodies are being recovered from the site of the flood and fire disasters in Accra. Response teams were sent to the area after reports of discovery of some decomposing bodies. Kwete Nate has been to the scene and joins us now with the latest. Kwete, so do we know the number of bodies retrieved so far?
So far, one body has been retrieved by the police and not more officials. The body is partially decomposed. The search took about 30 minutes before they were able to retrieve the body. This was because there was 4 lighting in the building, and the officials of NADMO and the police had no torchlight, so they had to look for a torchlight to aid in the rescue operation.
So do we know, is the rescue operation going on? Do we know if they are going to look for more bodies?
They are done with the rescue operation, but I spoke to the Nima Division Commander, ACP Nu Django. He was telling me that what they found out means there is more to it. So it's going to carry out investigation to determine whether there is a foul play in the body that they've retrieved there.
Tell us, how did they get to know that there was a body somewhere down there? Some
residents living there informed the authorities. What actually happened was that some persons were living close to the disaster scene, so they went in with the intention of salvaging some of their property. So when they went inside the building, they saw the decomposed body. And initially, they told me that they were hearing scent emanating from the place. So that more or less confirmed the association when they went in there. So they called the authorities earlier yesterday to inform them that this is what they found.
Okay, we'll leave it here. That's Kwete Nate from the scene of the flood and fire disaster. We understand that one body has been retrieved and police are going to continue investigations. Now, consultations for drawing up a 40-year development plan for Ghana begins today in the Ashanti region. The team leading the development of the new framework intends to make it binding on all political parties. Chairman of the National Development Planning Commission, Dr. Kwesi Butchie, says the plan is meant to help Ghanaians envision what their future should be.
Decided to do a 40-year plan. The logic of it is that Ghana will be 100 years old in about from the inception of the plan to its end. So we are targeting what Ghana should look like at Ghana 100. So that's the idea. We've heard this echoed around the country, and people who saying if the plan isn't backed by law, then it won't be legally binding, and really all the work we've done would have come to naught. I'd like to say, first of all, obviously, if the plan isn't binding at all, it will be a waste of everybody's time. So yes, we hope and expect that the plan will be legally binding. The rub lies in what we mean when we say that it's legally binding. The plan will be legally binding, but it will still leave some space for the different political parties when they come to power to develop 4-year programs coinciding with the tenure of office that would detail how they intend to implement their policies within the framework of the plan. The process that we launched at the conference center last week is characterized, it is defined by a great deal of inclusivity and participation. Even before the launch, we paid courtesy calls and made briefing sessions, had briefing sessions with the Chief Justice, all three sitting presidents, the political parties, a host of others, just to brief them, and the Council of State, culminating with the Council of State, just to let them understand what we were going to be doing. And then we launched it last week and are now starting the actual process of going around the regions and sampling the views of the people. So the best way to do this, to achieve this really, this implementation, consistency that you're talking about, is to have that buy-in. We paid courtesy calls on the political parties. We had an excellent session with each and every one of them. With
all
NPP.
of them respond positively to this?
All of them responded positively and gave us their ideas about the kinds of emphases that they like to see. Now, we are going to go to the regions again, and then, of course, all this will culminate in the submission of the thing to Parliament for approval. So I want to stress that, you see, to assure the consistency and the implementation of the plan, law is helpful, but even more important is the buy-in and ownership of the plan by the people, which is what we are seeking to do in this round of consultations.
So we have been assessing the impact of the doctor strike in the capital. Right now, let's go to Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi, and speak to Erastus Asare Donko to get the latest. Hello, Erastus.
Yeah.
Erastus, what can you tell us about the impact of the strike in the Ashanti region?
Well, I must say that in summary, we are having referrals coming from almost all the private hospitals in cases that are above their level to treat. And the only hospital that is capable of treating these cases is the Consultations Teaching Hospital. And currently, they are not taking in new cases. And so we have private ambulances scurrying around town trying to find private capacities that can treat their patients. We have relatives doing same throughout the region. Currently, I'm at the Consultations Teaching Hospital, where earlier today we had a woman who was sent away, dying in a private hospital just a few meters from here. So the situation has not changed. It's not the same as of now. They are still not taking in new emergencies, but I have observed that the Ghana Ambulance Service brings in patients, and sometimes they are taken inside and given treatment. So that is the nature of what is happening here.
Okay, Erastus, earlier you just mentioned a woman who died because they couldn't take her to a hospital on time or get a doctor to treat. What's the latest on her so far?
Well, I have not been able to trace the family yet because they could not speak with me. They just moved away in a hurry after the patient was declared dead at the private hospital. I have not been able to contact them yet. And I have been trying to get feedback from the management of the Consultations Teaching Hospital. I've been told by the chief executive to wait. Management is currently doing a round at the hospital, checking all the various units we have here, and at the appropriate time they will give me audience. So I'm still waiting to see if I can get a word from the Consultations Teaching Hospital.
Okay, Erastus, back here in Accra, we understand that at Kolebu, for instance, the Child Health Department's inpatients are being told that they will be discharged by Friday because of the ongoing strike. Do you have any idea what's going to happen to patients who are already at the hospital or they are inpatients in Kath?
I cannot confirm that in Kumasi, and I must say the story might be different because currently they are taking care of patients on the ward. So when I went inside, there are people on the ward, people who have been there before the strike began, people who have been admitted recently as well, who have been taken care of. From the conversation from my inside sources, it doesn't look like they will be discharging any patients from the accident and emergency.
Okay, that's Erastus Asare Donko with Love FM in Kumasi, telling us about the impact of the doctor's strike there. We'll turn our attention to other stories, and an Accra fast-track court has ruled that the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation can go ahead and collect TV license fees. This was in a case brought by former Chief Executive of VRA, Dr. Charles Rekubrobe. The court, however, ordered that GBC should hold on with the distribution of the funds collected. Lawyer for GBC, Dennis J. Jumo, welcomed the ruling.
An application for injunction seeking to restrain GBC in particular from resuming or commencing the collection of TV lines as it had broadcasted. And the court disagreed with that position. The court thinks that by law, when they themselves admitted that you cannot stop a statutory body such as GBC from performing its statutory duty as mandated by law. But what the court actually said also further is that in terms of the sharing of the proceeds as announced, they should hold on till the determination is made.
One of the reliefs they were seeking to was to, as it were, prevent GBC from sharing the proceeds with, the private media organizations. What's the position of the court?
The court position on that is that is the allegation that Rekubrobe has made. Rekubrobe's position is that there's no law backing the sharing. We share a different opinion. That is a political question as to how our taxes are supposed to be used. That is what the court thinks that for now, hold on to the sharing, come to court, convince us, let the court make a determination on same. So the court has given direction how it should be proceeded from there.
Joining us on the telephone lines right now is Egbert Fable. He is lawyer for Dr. Charles Rekubrobe. Hello, good afternoon to you, Egbert. Okay, he's not on the phone lines, but we have been speaking to him.
This is a victory for rule of justice and to send a clear signal to GBC that it cannot do as it wishes. We are a nation of laws and not a nation of GBC management and what it thinks. The law says that GBC cannot share TV license with anybody. Let GBC use the TV license fees to improve its broadcasting. You share with private TV operators for what? We are all private businessmen. When government collects taxes, does it come and give it to us that because you are holding a microphone, so take and go and use?
Psychologist and anti-domestic violence campaigner Adolphe Ewuku-Bekwe has bemoaned the many challenges in protecting children and women from abuse. Over 1,000 children were defiled and over 300 women were raped in 2014. The Domestic Violence and Victim Support Unit, mandated to fight domestic violence, faces numerous challenges, including training and infrastructure. But the biggest problem, according to Mr. Bekwe, who has over the years worked with DOFSU, is the lack of respect for police personnel at DOFSU.
Facility, and without DOFSU, our implementation of sexual violence will be zilch, to come to nothing. And so we should direct enough attention to DOFSU and capacitate DOFSU, not only in terms of giving them training, but giving them incentives. Not only that, but also making sure that those people, those police officers who work within DOFSU are respected. Currently, they are not respected even within the police hierarchy.
Why is that?
They think that is not normal that is not policing. They think that is not policing. You are working with survivors. That is not policing. When you're talking about policing, policing is being out there. Visibility, out there. That is what policing, that will even affect morale. Because if your employers do not respect the work that you do, you'll be looked down upon and you'll be demoralized. And so I think that it is the best form of policing ever.
But that's within the police culture. So how do you get police officers to appreciate that dealing with abuses doesn't mean you're not doing police work?
Well, the culture must change, and I think that the culture is changing, but it's taking too long a time. And there is a certain misconception that crime, and you see, that is the challenge gender-based violence has had all these years, because we have police that has been trained to look at public violence that occurs in the public space.
Business news comes up shortly. Time now for business. Clearing agents are not likely to have a field day to underdeclare the value of their imports when the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority takes over valuation at the ports. Customs is taking over the role from destination inspection companies beginning September 1. This is in line with international best practices and government's plans to implement a single window scheme at the port. There are, however, fears this could see some clearing agents underdeclare the value of their goods. goods. But tax policy advisor at the Finance Ministry, Dr. Edward Labisian, tells Joy Business there are adequate measures in place.
In most countries, you accept the invoice of the declarant. Okay? It's because there's a history of people undervaluing. That's why you have this superimposing valuation. But most countries, you trust the importer. His declared value is what you use. The laws in customs will adhere to the fact that if customs, when they use their valuation base, knows that you have cheated, they have a right to buy your product off you and pay you only 10%. So that if the thing should be $100 per ton and you are declaring 50, you want to cheat, customs will accept your invoice and pay you on 50. Many countries don't have this valuation superimposed, and many countries, when they do away with DICs, they go straight, custom empowered.
Some patrons and exhibitors of the MultiTV HFC Bank Habitat Fair want organizers to make the event a national one. The fair, which provided housing needs, ended yesterday.
This fair have been a fair that I really enjoyed because we used to get more customers. People come here and see what we have, and so after the fair we really get a good response from that, and we do appreciate MultiTV for organizing this show. Basically, the fair for us has been outstanding. This is our first time at the fair, and we are hoping next year we'll be back. The results have been outstanding, and we're hoping that the patronage will translate into more sales and more, people will get to know the good quality products that we stand for.
We've enjoyed the patronage, and this is our first time. So we believe the subsequent ones will be great, better than what we've experienced now.
Today's Habitat Fair has been fairly good. We've had more friends. In fact, we never had friends like we've had now. Our business is about making friends, not only business. Our customers, when they come, they are our friends. Over here, we've made more friends. We've met more people. More corporate organizations have come to meet with us and have sat with us and have taken our contacts. We hope they call us to do more business with us. And we thank Multimedia also for bringing us here to do business.
It has been great, especially I'm loving this day, this Sunday. A lot of people are trooping in, and at least we've got some prospective clients that we think will still follow up after this exhibition.
The current economic challenges are impacting the business environment. Profits of some listed banks for first half of this year have been negatively affected. For the first time in a long while, some of the banks listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange saw earnings decline, while others even recorded losses. George Afe has been going through the financials of these banks.
The banks that declined was UT Bank, which saw it recorded a loss of almost or a little over 30 million Ghana cedis. HFC Bank's profit also declined marginally. Standard Chartered Bank as well, and then SGSSB. We're talking about the listed banks here. So these are the banks that actually saw their profits decline marginally because of the current environment that has made it difficult for these businesses who have borrowed from these commercial institutions or commercial banks to turn these credits very quickly and then pay them on time to these commercial banks. In terms of actual self-implications, interesting. Let's first look at the banks that are not doing well in terms of their earnings declining, and even for some who are posting a loss. If it's basically as a result of these non-performing loans, the fact that your loan is classified as non-performing, if the time that is taken to settle those loans is not being done by that businessman. So if it gets bad, it means that for some of these commercial banks, they might end up pricing these bad loans into the loan that you take when you walk into a commercial bank. It means that interest rates will go up. If the banks see that, okay, it is risky lending to these firms out there, why don't I do the most easiest thing here? Buy treasury bills and make profit. So that would also have implications on access to credit and then cost of credit.
Have you ever wondered what is contained in a jar of honey? Pure honey has no added preservatives or flavoring nor coloring, yet it's sweet and can last for years. The process of bees making honey is as beautiful as the end product. In the following report, Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin explores the unique benefits of honey and sadly why beekeepers do not get value for their products.
An undiluted bottle of honey is an embodiment of health as intended by nature.
And white sugar. Honey also has a little fiber.
that we know has a lot of benefits in terms of controlling blood cholesterol and helping to maintain or reduce weight, and also prevent other conditions like constipation. There are other minerals too that honey comes along with. Compared with the brown sugar and the granulated sugar again.
The honey making process begins from the flower nectar, which is collected by bees, naturally broken down into simple sugars and stored in honeycombs.
They convert the excess nectar into honey and store in their hives for seasons that there will not be flower. So the honey really is food that the bees themselves have stored for themselves.
Honey has a long history of human consumption and plays a significant role in religion. But with the immense nutritional values of honey, many beekeepers are not getting value for the produce we so cherish. Each of the over 50 beekeepers here at Diadasu near Sampa in the Brong-Ahafo region produce over 50 gallons of honey every harvesting season.
It in our houses, when we are fortunate and somebody comes for some, then we sell it. We don't get market.
But there is no ready market for pure honey.
They actually produce pure honey, but the marketing is a problem.
On many occasions, these farmers run at a loss selling their produce at a cheaper price.
When somebody comes, he can buy it at the price he wants. So we run at a loss.
The beekeepers want partnerships with organizations to better market their produce.
That's it for business. Coming up next is sports.
I am Baba Tando. Let's talk sports, and let's begin with the First Capital Plus Premier League, which seems to have taken a dramatic twist as it takes a bend towards the end. Now, Ashanti Kotoko were held to a goalless draw by Inter Allies at the Tema Stadium yesterday. That result saw the Porcupine Warriors slipping from 5th to 6th, while Inter Allies moved third. Now, just within 2 minutes of that game, Kotoko had a goal disallowed by referee Timothy Obobisa, a development that got some Kotoko fans irate. Alhaji Abu Lamini is a former board member and financier of Kotoko, and he had this to say on officiating by referee Timothy Obobisa.
So for the game, it was a very difficult game. But all the same, I think Kotoko should have carried the 3 points. It's just unfortunate we could not win this particular match. But we did all what we could. But unfortunate, the referee, I don't want to complain much about him, but today he was not at his best. But it is a football game. We take it like that. It was a clean goal. Nobody even touched the goalkeeper. He came and punched the ball out, then they head the ball in. So there's nothing wrong with that goal. It's a clean goal.
All right, so I'll take you to a contrary opinion. And Delali Senaya is chief executive of Tema-based Inter Allies, and he actually holds a contrary opinion to what Alhaji Lamini said.
Kotoko is a side that has been down for some time, but they have picked up their confidence and they equally play good. This game was a big game because this is our home. We know how to play well in our home. Inter Allies have developed a strong character and strong mentality. In the second round, we exhibit fantastic play. That's why we are playing with a weaker side. 5 players, starting 11, who have now moved to Europe. But the rest of the players, the young ones, exhibit strong character on the day, and you can see they love the game. They can play. From where I was sitting, I think it was a good call. I think it took infringement on our goalie. Okay. Yeah, but it's normal for fans to disagree and agree with a referee.
All right, so just in case you haven't caught up with all the results that happened yesterday, let's just take a quick look at what happened at all the other league centers, including what happened at Tema with Inter Allies and Asante Kotoko. So here are the full results of matches played. Adriana Stars actually joined 1-1 with Great Olympics. Inter Allies holding Kotoko to a goalless draw, while All Stars at the War Park, where they tend to be so invincible, they actually lost to Liberty Professionals. Ash Goal 2, Mediama SC 1, Hearts of Oak 1, Bichim United 0, Hazakes 1, Hearts of Lions 0, BA United Surprisingly, they drew 1-1 with New Edibiasi United. Wafa 2, Bekum Chelsea 1. Now let's check out the standings for the league so far. It's still Ash Gold on top with 48 points now, stretching their lead between themselves and Aduana Stars to 3 points. So Aduana Stars second with 45 points. Inter Allies moved third with 41 points. Wafa in fourth place with 40 points. Bekum Chelsea, Kotoko, Hazakes, Wow Stars all following in that order. And then let's check out the bottom three. Hearts of Oak have been able to escape from that zone. They now find themselves 11th on the league log. So relegation now is for Hearts of Lions, Bichim United and BA United. Great Olympics, they are tied on the same points with Bichim United, with Hearts of Lions actually 34 points each, meaning that they are up because of a superior goal difference. So those are the results, the standings actually for the First Capital Plus Premier League. Now let's move away from Ghana and go to Europe. And Ghana international Andre Ayew made a sterling start to his English Premier League career when Swansea City lined up against defending champions Chelsea. Now Andre scored on his debut as Chelsea were held to a 2-2 draw at the Stamford Bridge. The former Marseille midfielder credits the goal to his. Andre Ayew there. Now, before I go, some athletic story, and about 128 million female athletes participated in the Interplat Sea and Shore National Circuits Championship at the Tamale Stadium over the weekend. Now, the championship was organized by the Ghana Athletics Association, and it was mainly to give the athletes the advantage to better their time to earn a qualification spot ahead of the All-Africa Games next month. Youth and Sports Minister Dr. Ahmed Mustafa, who was in Tamale for the championship, expressed delight at the performance of the athletes.
Really, I am encouraged by what I've seen. I'm encouraged by the activities. All the circuits have produced very great and encouraging results. And I believe that if this practice should continue, Ghana athletics definitely will pick up and rise to a higher crescendo.
Check out all of these headlines and more on the sports page of myjoyonline.com. But for now, my job is done. Good afternoon.
The sports segment was brought to
for entertainment, and Gladys Osei Oredu joins me in the studio. Gladys.
Hi, Francisca. I hope it was a good weekend.
It was a good weekend.
Okay, yeah, it was, but very I was working. You were working.
So that's the not so good part.
Oh,
but I did have fun on Saturday.
You should have fun with everything you do.
I did have fun
at each moment of your life.
Ask me what I did.
What did you do Saturday night?
I went clubbing.
Oh yeah, that's a spirit, girl. Give it to me.
But as always, you're looking good. Today we know we're talking about Stone Boy.
Stone Boy had his concert. It was a very eventful weekend actually. So as Stone Boy was having his concert, we also had the television awards where there was an expensive joke. Well, we'll talk about that. Sure. We shouldn't spill it out of the beans yet. But you know, Stone Boy actually had his Go Higher concert planned out, and this happens to be the very first performance after he won the Best International Act at the Black Entertainment Awards. Okay. And he used this concert to also honor his late mom. So we had very interesting performances, and he also granted us interview, the very first interview after the death of his mom. So let's take a watch at Stone Boy, who tells us how he feels about the Go Higher concert and what he has up his sleeve.
Mama, if you know that you got a mother in the place, can I see the underlip for? Lift up the hand, lift up the hand, lift up the hand, if you know you have your mother and you got your mama. Oh yeah, you nigga tell you them from them, I say I'm to be, but I'm probably to my dinner. What is the way to be? When we take it where we lay on the body can go. When we bust it and we can the press them can.
Basically, the Go Higher Tour was scheduled to be the next thing to kick off after I won the Best International Artist of the Year Africa at the BETs. So I took it up on myself to go on a nationwide tour after the BETs because we've achieved a lot. And I know that all parts of Ghana would want to experience us. So at this verge, this is what I bring to you, the Go Higher Tour. Go Higher coming from my latest single, Go Higher, which became a hit in less than 3 weeks.
Mama, if you know that you got a mother in the place, can I see the underlip for? Still see the enemy, you want my vote.
Franca, you know, that is how the Ashaman people kept themselves busy Saturday night. But in a related development, we also had Doreen and Dos.
Oh, yeah.
She actually started her Saturday very, very early in the morning with friends. You know, she's been 20 years on air.
Yes.
At Multimedia.
Doreen is a powerhouse.
She is a powerhouse. And she actually says her doors are open to young ones who wants to be trained and groomed. She will always be on standby to do that. But we caught up with her in her house, and when friends actually threw a surprise party to mark the 20th anniversary, which happened to be exactly last Saturday. Let's take a watch.
That's nice. You did achieve your aim, so it's good. When I look around, I realize that all the people who I would actually call to a particular party that if I would have organized are here. And these are my true friends. And so I am touched by the fact that my friends look out for me and they actually didn't hesitate to say, I want to be a part of it. It makes me feel good that there are people that I can still count on.
Well, I mean, a lot of people out there look out to you. They've always learned from you. I mean, we all grew up listening to you, and now we even want to be like you. I mean, what is your message to the youth out there?
The sky is the limit. You can be whatever you want to be. You just have to believe in yourself. Believe in your abilities. Don't let anything stop you, because God gave each and every one of us a special talent. It is up to you to look for what you have and to build on what you have and make better and touch people with what you have, because you can't only just satisfy yourself, but no matter what you do, make sure that you reach out to and help people with what you've been blessed with. And so that's what I entreat people to do.
20 years of Cosmopolitan Mix and something else.
Lunchtime Rhythms?
Lunchtime. I admire her, but she's pretty. Yeah,
well, she was great.
Okay, but you know, television awards, MultiTV, we had one award for set design for Kids Paradise, and well, the award recipient on his behalf, the managers of the channel spoke for him.
If you do something so well, you expect to keep it, and we've set a standard with for Kids Paradise set design, and we're happy to maintain it. And this is an award that has been approved by our own colleagues, you know, who think that.
Right, so we're looking forward to picking more awards this weekend at the television awards, but tell the people to, you know, vote for the white carpet.
Okay, vote for the white carpet. That's Gladys Osei of Radio. It's now time for international news.
Entertainment news was brought to you